What's up, gang? It's Chris Angel coming at you for another episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Tonight, this is episode 344, by the way, 344. That puts us, 21 episodes away from 365. That's pretty exciting. Okay, well, I want to talk about tonight how I don't trust you. And maybe per se, not you watching this, but I'm in a place where I'm ready to grow. I can tell because I've hit a plateau in my current, I'm steady. I'm steady. I've gone through a huge 1-year burst of creativity. I've been implementing a ton of stuff, and I'm now about to start my 6th Groundswell Method intensive program. It's the 6-week program I always talk about in this show, where I help people actually build a podcast and launch a show in the world, having accessed the truth that they want to share with the world. And what I've noticed is I'm ready for bigger cohorts. I'm ready for the next push of growth, and I'm plateauing. And so as I've been digging into what's it going to take to grow, what's it going to take to get to the next level of impact that I want, I'll tell you, for several days, it's just kind of been blank stares. Like I haven't really been able to figure out or pinpoint, like, okay, what do I need to do? And it was somewhere in, I was listening to, in looking for tactics and strategies and what should I do? I was listening to some people talk about their style of marketing, and I noticed I was getting triggered by how they were teaching it, because I felt like they were teaching more and more of all of the manipulative, let me trick people into buying my thing. I didn't like it. And I feel like that's just perpetuating more of the thing that's broken in marketing. And so I was sitting there sort of pissed at these people teaching this way, because I didn't want to be a part of that, and sort of like wrestling with, do I have to do that? I don't think I have to do it the way they say it. I'm not willing to sacrifice or sell out. What got me here is the whole authenticity thing. Like what has this feel aligned and congruent for me is that I've stayed true to myself. So I'm not willing to grow the next phase if what I have to do is stop being true to myself. And I started to look into the trigger, like what is living in the shadow down there for me that has me triggered by this. And it was interesting. This may not be a direct linear logic here, but just follow me for a second. What I noticed was, first of all, that on one hand, I'm all about modeling something. Like if you have something that works, I want to do it. Like, and one of the guys was talking about headlines. Hey, go on a website, find headlines that trend and are popular, and then try to model the headline. And that felt gimmicky to me or tricksy to me, right? Like, I don't want to game something. I don't want to game people, but I'm not opposed to modeling something that works if I can make it fit me. And so there's this friction between looking out into the world and seeing like what works. Like I don't want to reinvent the wheel, but also at the same time, taking things that work and making them, infusing life into them in a way that feels like they're congruent to me and not coming from an intention of manipulation, but coming from an intention of service and help and love and connection. Okay, so I noticed that, and then beneath that was this other thing of like, I might have to work with people. Like the next piece isn't going to be about a headline for me. One of the things they had talked about, one of the other trainings here that I had watched in the last day or two was about finding those you can network with, like influencers, like finding people who are well connected and then adding value to them. And that felt more congruent. I'm like, yeah, I can see that because I'm a relationship guy. I like that. And then it was underneath that. So you see, I'm 3 levels deep here. The first one was like, I didn't like the tricksy gamey thing. And then underneath that, I'm like, okay, I might have to work on relationships with people, and I'm a good relationship person. And then under that was this thing about, but I don't trust them generically. I don't trust them. And what I didn't want to do is have to, there's a part of me that wants to be seen for who I am, not what I can give you. And a lot of this training is about what can you give influencers? What value can you provide? What platform have you built that you can give them value in so that they want to give you the time of day. Now, listen, I totally get that. And it's not like they need to befriend me just because I want to be befriended, or like, I understand there's an exchange of value. And that's what I'm wrestling with, right? Like what I'm wrestling with is this thing where I, as a human, just want to be seen, and I want to be your friend, and I want to be valued because I have value as a human, not because I have something that I can give you. And the minute the thing that I give you the thing and it's no longer valuable to you, you discard me. That's what I don't trust. And I'm wrestling with this moment of like, is this the game? Is this the game? Is this what's required for me to grow? That I have assets. I have particular platforms and ways in which I can add value to people. And does that come with the risk of them discarding me after, or if what I'm providing no longer has value? It's possible. It's possible. I remember years ago, Jim Rohn said, you don't get paid. You only get paid for the value you bring to the marketplace, right? The marketplace doesn't pay you because you're a human that has value. They pay you because you bring value to the marketplace. That's what you get paid for. And so that's what I'm wrestling with. But I realize that in order to go there, and I think that's the next push for me, right, is to start to find people that I can really, that I resonate with, that I feel aligned with, that are a good fit for me, that I could really add value to them. But in order to go there, I'm going to have to dig deep and start to heal some of the betrayals and some of the defensive patterns I've had in my life that have kept me, quote unquote, safe from that happening. So look, it's not like I have an answer for you tonight in this episode. What I'm pointing to is that in order for me to grow, I'm going to have to start to learn to trust, and I'm also going to have to learn to let go of the defensive patterns that have kept me safe. Now, let me turn the mirror around to you for a minute. Some of you, in your defensive patterns, have been hiding out from marketing. You have been hiding in your business because you've been burned by marketing programs. You've been burned by coaches. You've been burned by yourself. You and all your enthusiasm for your business and all the ways you were going to change the world went out, and maybe you over leveraged yourself. You spent yourself into a hole, or maybe you worked so hard in the business that you neglected relationships. Listen, I don't know how you hurt yourself, but there are multiple ways that you've developed defensive patterns so that you don't run the risk of doing that again. And you, like me, may be stuck. You're ready for the next thing. You've plateaued out. You've flattened out. Your growth has been stale for years. And what you're ready for is the next push. And you can feel it. You're like, yes, there is something rising in me, but I can't get there on the methods that have gotten me here. There's got to be something new. And what I'm going to tell you right now is what I saw for myself today. And that is, it's most likely not a strategy that's going to help you grow. That's helpful, but it's something underneath that you need to heal and let go of. That is going to help you grow. Now, once you can do that, you can partner with a strategy, a method, a thing, right, to grow. But if you just try to wear and put on the method without healing the thing underneath, you're going to sabotage yourself. Because like me, if it's a trust thing, you're like, I don't trust you. I don't trust it. I don't trust this scenario. I've done this before and it didn't work. Like, do you see, you'll try something new, but without healing the betrayal underneath, whether you betrayed yourself or someone else betrayed you, without healing that, it won't work. You'll sabotage it. Because all you have to go on is the old mindset and the old skill sets that got you here. So trying on a new method or a new strategy without changing your mindset of, I can't trust people, I can't trust myself, things usually don't work out for me, I've been stuck for so long. If you don't change that, well, then no method you try on is going to fix that for you. And maybe that's the problem. For some of you, you've been stuck. You've been trying on different things for yourself. You've been trying on different methods and reading different books and going to different courses and paying for different coaches, and none of it works. And you're getting so cynical now that you're starting to think the problem is over there. Everybody's trying to take advantage of you. When in fact, it's just that you haven't gone deep enough in the shadows to heal the things that you're resistant to. And in order for you to grow, you're going to have to get more vulnerable with yourself and with others. And what has kept you stuck are the defensive patterns, which are not having you be vulnerable, right? Like these defensive patterns are keeping you safe, but they're not allowing you to grow. So maybe you, like me, have some trust issues. I think that's fair for a lot of us in this tribe. The rest of us. I think we are sensitive souls. I think we're kind-hearted. I think we're givers. But I think that's been taken advantage of so many times that now we're nervous to give, and we're nervous to support, and we're nervous to let our sensitive soul free to engage other people, because it's easy for that to get steamrolled. And that with that comes defensive patterns and trust issues. But listen, if you're here to put important work out in the world, if you're here to really serve people, and like I've said in past episodes, if I asked you how many people do you want to help, you would say, because you're a giver, you'd say, well, I want to help as many people as I can. You wouldn't want to withhold the help and the service and the skills and the lessons that life has given you. You wouldn't withhold that. But there's this disconnect from like, well, if they came to me and they just showed up on my doorstep, then I would help as many as possible. But if I had to put myself out there and go market to people, well, then I don't know. And this is where we get stuck, right? Like, your next phase of growth is upon you. But in order for you to step into it, you're going to have to heal some things and let go of some defensive patterns in order to step into the giver that you are and the generous soul that you are. And you're going to have to trust people, and you might have to redefine what your expectations, just like I'm having to redefine my expectations of like, look, I've kind of had this naive idea that I just want people to see me for who I am. And that's where the value should be, versus that there's the value that I bring in a platform and the value I bring into something. There's an exchange of value. I bring you value, you give me value. But it's not just because Chris is a nice guy. And I think that's sort of how I've had it for a while. Partly because in the past I gave stuff away and then people didn't value it and I felt tossed aside. I got my feelings hurt. So I'm shining the light in my own shadow for you tonight so that you can see, hopefully, from what I'm wading through, something for yourself, that you could see an opportunity to grow by looking in your shadow and seeing what there is to heal and seeing which defensive patterns you need to let go of so that you can actually step into your calling, step into the thing you're here to do. Your soul wants to do it. My soul wants to do it. And in order for that to happen, we're going to have to let some things go. All right, gang, that's what I have for you tonight. If you would like to learn how to do some marketing with some methods around it and do it in a way that gets into the shadow of it so that you don't just feel like you're putting a method on top of some old mindsets and wounds, my 6-week program, the Groundswell Method Intensive, really walks through how do you find the truth that's living inside of you and how do you begin to share it in a way that is safe. And at the same time that it's safe, what it does is it actually starts to open things up for you. Your voice starts to crawl its way out. And you start to realize that it's not as scary out here as you thought. People aren't out here just waiting to throw daggers at you, that there's actually people waiting to hear from you. And if you'd like to learn more about that program, you can go to groundswellmethod.com, groundswellmethod.com. The link is in the text of this post. And on that site, there are 5 videos waiting for you. You're going to watch those videos. It's roughly 99 minutes. Think of it like a webinar. You're going to watch the webinar. And which explains this whole paradigm of marketing. How do we begin to market in a way that honors who we are without being gamey and tricksy, but also adds value to other people? How do we do that? That 99-minute webinar tells you that. Now, from there, at the end of those 5 videos is an application button. If you'd like to apply for the next upcoming 6-week program, you just click the Apply Today button, fill out the application, and it comes to me, okay? I'm committed, gang, that you begin to have a more, not just authentic experience of yourself in marketing, but a more empowered experience of yourself in marketing. I say often that marketing is a spiritual practice because it requires that you dig deep into the shadow to find things to say that actually matter to you and to others, just like I'm doing with you today in this episode. I didn't dig deep in the shadows to be like, well, what can I share with them today? I was digging the shadows today because I'm like, I need to grow. And what is stopping me? And this is what I found. And I thought, this would serve you because I'm guessing, like me, you also have been stuck in your growth and you've tried things like methods and strategies and stuff. But what's really going to have you break free is getting under the surface of that and starting to heal some things and let go of some things. So gang, this is it for today in this episode of Marketing for the Rest of Us. Thanks for hanging out with me. Until tomorrow, when we post again, here's to you finding trust for yourself and for others.